In this tutorial, you will learn how to calculate the area and perimeter of a 2D shape when the shape has some missing lengths that you have to figure out first. So what is the perimeter? The perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside. So that there is 5 centimetres. B, we don't know the length of that side. You've got A, again, we don't know the length of that side. Then you've got 7 centimetres, 24 centimetres and 13 centimetres. Once we know the length of the missing sides, we add all those numbers together and that gives us the distance of the shape around the outside, the perimeter. So let's look at how we're going to tackle this. We need to find the length of side A, and we're going to use information in the question to help us. So this bottom line here, the base, I've just popped it in yellow for you. It's 24 centimetres. So how are we going to use that to help us? Well, we know that along the top we've got 5 centimetres. Now this yellow line at the bottom is going to disappear, and those 5 centimetres are going to come down to the base. Okay, so now we have to figure out line A, which we can do. You have to think about what is going to join 5 centimetres to make 24, because we know the entire length of that bottom line is 24 centimetres. So what needs to join 5 to get to 24? Or another way of saying that is 24 take away 5 is. So watch that line A. So what has now joined the 5 centimetres to get to 24? And there's your calculation. 24 minus 5 is 19. Now there's a very important point here. When you're looking for the length of a horizontal line, and line A is a horizontal line, you can only use other horizontal lines to help you. And that's why horizontal lines are shown in yellow, so you can make that clear distinction. Okay, so let's now go to our next bit. We know that this vertical line is 13 centimetres, and we're going to use that to help us figure out the length of line B. I think you've figured this out now. You know that this other vertical line is 7 centimetres, and remember, when we're looking for the length of a vertical line, we can only use other vertical lines to help us. So that's 7 centimetres going over. So the question is, what do you need to add to 7 to get to 13? Now you know that. Another way of wording that would be, what is 13 minus 7? So there we go. There's that other part, the B going over. And here's our calculation. 13 minus 7 is 6. So that's the length of line B. Okay, so now we can use all that information to help us calculate the perimeter. Because we've got all the lengths in, we're going to add them together. Now I'm going to suggest that you start in a clockwise direction. So I'm going to start at 5 centimetres. Then I'm going to go to 6 centimetres because that's going around in a clockwise direction. So I'm going to tick it. And we're doing that so that you don't forget to add any numbers in and that you don't calculate any numbers twice. So 19 plus 7 plus 24 plus 13, our perimeter is 74 centimetres. Okay, let's now move on to the area. So when we're looking at the area, we are looking at the amount of space that we've got inside the shape. So I'm going to draw a vertical line here. And I've got 2 parts to my shape. I've got this bit here, and I'm going to call that side A. And I need to find out, when they're talking about the area, how many centimetre squares have I got? How many squares have I got where each square is 1 centimetre? Now I've got the number 5 across the top. So I could draw in 5 squares. And it tells me I've got 13 going down. So I draw in 13 squares. I could, if I wanted to, fill in my whole space with squares. But why would I draw them all in? There's a quicker way of doing this. What's the quicker way? The quicker way is 13 times 5 is 65 centimetre squares, and I put a little 2 up there to show it's centimetre squares. Okay, so that's the area of section A. Be very careful here because often children use the wrong numbers. Now I have to calculate the area of this second shape over here. What do you think are the numbers I'm going to use? Some of you might be thinking it's 24, but 24 is not the right number to use. So that was my first bit, 13 times 5. So I've got that. What are the dimensions of this section here? I'm going to call this section B. And I can see that I've got 19 going across the top, 7 going down. Again, I could fill entire space in with squares, but why would I do that? What is my calculation? My calculation is 19 times 7, which is 133 centimetres, and I put a little 2 up there because I'm showing that I've got 33 centimetre squares. So how do I find the area of the entire shape? I have to add section A and section B. There we go. Add them together and I get 198 centimetre squares. So that's how you work the area of the entire shape. You split it into 2 parts. Now I'm going to leave you with one more question. And I'm going to leave this question hanging in the air. Not going to answer it, but I want you to think about it and come up with your own answer. When I calculated the area, I drew a vertical line coming down. But my question is, had I drawn a horizontal line, like I've just shown you here in green, and then calculated the area of the entire shape, would my answer have been more than 198 centimetres squared or less than 198 centimetres squared? That's not a question I'm going to answer. Some of you have said it's more, some of you have said it's less, but work it out, look at what happens, and we'll go from there. And one final point, if you're not sure about how to multiply a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number because you haven't been shown how to do that at school yet, don't worry, I'm just about to upload a whole unit on that for you. So that's how you do that question, and I hope that you're able to do the rest of the questions in the unit.